So, you guys really like Kagome? INUYASHA asked Shion on their way to the Crystal Garden.
Yes, she's really kind to us, and she seems very wise, and she's really beautiful,
Shion replied with a slight blush on his cheeks. Yeah, she really is. INUYASHA trailed off thoughtfully as he stepped into the Crystal Garden to see Kagome being hugged by Mugi, Roku, Dai, Ai, and Asagi with tears in her eyes and on her cheeks. Kagome, INUYASHA said softly as he placed Shion on the ground. Kagome turned to her husband, who carefully approached her and the other half-demon children. Alright guys, it's time for your combat lesson with Kohaku. Shion, thank you for coming to get me. I can take it from here. Aww, all 6 children whined sadly. It's okay. How about this? Everyone in the estate will have dinner together tonight, and we can all see Kagome then. INUYASHA offered, making the children instantly perk up. Yay! They all cheered. Great, off you guys go, okay? INUYASHA said with a chuckle. Bye, big sister, I called out as Asagi took her hand and led the other children out of the room, waving goodbye to Kagome and INUYASHA, who both smiled and waved back. Once the children were gone, INUYASHA turned to Kagome, who was still smiling softly at the door. Are you okay? The dog god asked as he gently used his fingers to brush away the tears on Kagome's cheeks. Those children are half-demon too, was all she said. Yeah, they are. They're all like little siblings to me. I mean, I'm closer with Bunza and Moroku, but you get the idea, INUYASHA stated awkwardly. Kagome smiled warmly at the thought, but she still didn't look at her husband. It must be nice, having so many good people around for your friends. It must be nice to be allowed to have friends, the Miko stated sadly. The people here aren't just my friends, they're my family, and you're allowed to have friends like everyone else is, INUYASHA insisted, but Kagome shook her head. No, Kaede says Mikos have no time for friends. She started, but her husband cut her off. She's wrong, and from what I saw, Kaede wanted to keep you to herself. And honestly, telling someone they're not allowed to have friends or find love is wrong. If we're being honest, I think Kaede was trying to tame you to what she thought was the perfect Miko, who thinks nothing of helping others. INUYASHA said. Kagome frowned at him. What's wrong with helping people? She asked defensively. The dog god smiled softly at his wife. What I mean is, Kaede wasn't giving you any time for what you wanted. For instance, like having friends and wanting love, and that matters because it's somewhat self-care. And self-care is not selfish. It's caring for yourself. Doing what you need to be happy and healthy mentally. And that's important because if you can't help or take care of yourself, how do you expect to help others or make them happy? INUYASHA asked. Kagome was speechless. To have something she had been worried about so much over the years drawn out into words so clearly, at the same time someone agreeing with the thoughts she had pushed back into her mind for such a long time, was almost too much to bear. Kagome, what did I say? INUYASHA had asked, very concerned when he noticed more tears streaming down his wife's eyes. I don't understand. My whole life I was trained to help others. I always thought if I did something for myself, it was being selfish. But deep down, I just didn't want to disappoint Kaede. I was so lonely all the time. Being here has made me feel less lonely, though. And I question everything I was taught about those with demon's blood. And I would cry. And when I would cry, I would always be sure to cry alone. And Kagome stopped as INUYASHA placed his red kimono robe over her shoulders and embraced her tightly, pressing her head to his shoulder. Shh. It's okay, don't stop. You can tell me anything. Let it all out, he cooed gently. Kagome couldn't help herself. She told INUYASHA everything, about her loneliness that made her feel so sad, how angry she felt with Kaede most of the time, and how she hated having to stay serious all the time. And after an hour of heavy sobbing in INUYASHA's warm embrace, Kagome was finally able to calm down a bit. Are you okay? The husband asked, softly as he rubbed soothing circles on her back. Yes, Kagome sniffled. Thank you for being so kind to me, Lord INUYASHA. INUYASHA tilted his wife's chin off. Please, INUYASHA is just fine, and I live to see you smiling and safe, he said, kissing Kagome's forehead gently, Kagome blushed at him. I don't know if I can love you, and I'm not pleased you kidnapped me, but I can see you're a kind person. I'm sorry I yelled at you last night, she stated. No, I'm sorry. Kagome, I shouldn't have taken you. I was so lonely, too. And like you, I wanted love, and I never should have marked you without your permission. I'm so sorry. I lost control of my full monster last night. I was told that would happen because now that I have a mate, my full monster is becoming harder to control. Since that side of me loves you as much as I do. But I'll work on that, I promise. And Inuyasha stopped when Kagome hugged him back. I understand, but as I said before, I don't know if I can love you. I mean, I barely know you. But I think it'd be best to think things over about staying with Kaede for a while. Kagome trailed off. What are you saying? Inuyasha questioned. I mean, if you'd have me, I'd like to stay here for a while. It's clear I haven't been honest with myself for a long time, and I need to take time to figure things out, and find out who I am other than a Miko. Kagome trailed off. Inuyasha smiled at her and hugged her close. Of course you can stay. You can stay for as long as you like, forever or however long you wish. You get the idea, he stated. Thank you. This robe is really warm and nice, Kagome said after she released herself from the hug and looked at the robe on her shoulders. I know, right? It was made with the hair of the fire rat. It's stronger than any armor in the world. My father had it made to protect me since I wasn't as strong as a full demon. I didn't like the reason, but it was true, and it actually was my swaddling cloth when I was a baby, Inuyasha exclaimed. Wow, Kagome trailed off, looking at the robe. Kagome, I just wanted to tell you that while you're here, you'll want and lack for nothing, and that everyone here will be ready to support you when you want it or need it, including me. The dog god trailed off bashfully while rubbing the back of his head. Kagome smiled and leaned forward to kiss Inuyasha's cheek. Thank you so much, she said, making her husband blush. No problem, he stuttered as deep blush crossed his cheeks, when suddenly he remembered. Oh, I meant to give this to you sooner, but he trailed off as he took out the little lily flower, which was missing a petal and slightly wilted, much to Inuyasha's embarrassment. Sorry, he said quickly. Kagome was speechless. No one had ever given her a flower before, much less a man. Even if it was from Inuyasha, she felt blush rise to her cheeks as she took the flower in her hands gently. Thank you. It's lovely. You know, no man has ever given me a gift before, Kagome stated shyly. Inuyasha showed an understanding expression on his face. I'm sorry it's not the best gift. I meant to give it to you sooner, but he started, but he stopped when he noticed Kagome smiling brightly at him. I love it, she said. She smiled at me, he thought to himself in disbelief, but then he shook his head. Well, we should get you a new bedroom. You can have any of them here, he said a bit bashfully as he did his best to hide his blush. Any of them are fine. Kagome started, but was cut off by the sliding door opening, revealing Sango and Kilala on the other side. Pardon the interruption, my lord, but Lord Koga of the Wolf Demon tribe has been seen through the mirror pond by Moroku outside of the estate, the general stated. Inuyasha sighed, clearly annoyed. Sango, Kilala, you two will accompany me to meet Lord Koga. Before we go, call Kohaku and Moroku. Tell them to hold down the fort and protect Kagome and Usagi and the children while we're gone, the dog god ordered, as he stood up only to have Kagome grab his hand. I'll come too, she stated seriously. Kagome, this wolf demon is really dangerous guy. He wants to steal our land, and he started, but his wife cut him off. This land includes the village I grew up in. I want to help protect the innocent people who live here as a Miko, I help with demon problems. So like it or not, I'm coming, she said firmly. If I may, my lord, it would indeed be wise to have someone with spiritual powers as backup, since Moroku will be busy holding down the fort, Sango replied, while Kilala meowed and nodded in agreement. Are you sure, Kagome? Inuyasha questioned seriously. I'm positive, Kagome stated determinedly. Well then, all right, he said. Let's go.